So, come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With iCCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on into a live edition here, Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. It is Tuesday. We are 3 days away from the showdown in Las Vegas, Boise State at UNLV, and we got about 45 minutes here to break it all down with you. We're going to talk mostly football. We do have another installment of RJ Keene, Men on the Street. Thanks to our friends at Signature Roofing. We'll get to that later in the show as well. Maybe a Max Rice clip from an interview I did as well. But, Jay, it's a big game on Friday and looking forward to it. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Yeah, really looking forward to this game on Friday. I mean, we've kind of thought that this one was going to be a big one for a while now. And, man, people are calling it the Group of Five game of the year potentially, and it's hard to argue with that. It's whoever wins this game is going to have a massive leg up in trying to get that bid.
No doubt. He is Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. My name is BJ Rains. We are in the Western Collective Studios. Make sure you pick up that Horseshoe Golden Ale or the Orange Chaos Seltzer at Albertson Stadium or your local retailer. And again, this is a Taco Bell Tuesday, so shout out to the Nicolason family, Taco Bell, SOM Management. Check them out as well. And again, a lot going on, but both of us heading down to Vegas this week, one of those short weeks with a Friday game. So just trying to get everything locked in, but going to be a fun couple of days. And I mentioned it on yesterday's show, but folks that are heading down to Las Vegas, hope maybe we can keep putting the pressure on Jay here. I know he's got the live pregame show. Maybe for the 4 o'clock news or something, we can get a Jay Tust appearance over at the pregame party. May not work out timing wise, but we'll be at Bar Canada inside the D Las Vegas up on the second floor. They got the sports book right there, the huge wall of TVs, a lot of high top tables and chairs. Is going to be the perfect spot for us. Again, 2 free drinks for anyone coming in blue and orange. You're a Boise State fan, they're just going to hand you 2 free drink tickets for 2 free drinks. It's at Bar Canada, second floor of the D, 3 o'clock to 5:30 on Friday. So if you're coming down to town, and this is for everybody, not just those that were a part of the package. We had about 80 people that signed up through the package with True Blue Travel. So there's going to be a minimum of 80 people at this party, but I know of several others. Riley Smith was telling me he's going to bring a group of former players by. We're going to have some other folks there as well. So Friday, if you're going to the game in Las Vegas and looking for a spot to pregame, KTIK, Johnny and Prater will be doing their show there. I'm going to do an early abbreviated pregame show there as well. We'll get some fans on, have some fun. Derek Stevens, the owner of Circo, the whole crew, they're going to be hanging out there with fans, meeting folks as well. So it's going to be a big old party, and then you head on over in an Uber to the game, and then you're ready to go. It ends 2 hours before the game, so plenty of time to get over to Allegiant Stadium. Looking forward to that. And again, Friday, 3 to 5:30. Join us at the D Las Vegas. And I got to tell you, Jay, I think this was probably the game based on just the expectations for the season, how last year went. There were a lot of fans in Hawaii, but for most fans, when the schedule came out in April or May, whenever it was, I think this was the game a lot of fans circled. I've heard a ton of fans that are going down to this game, and then the way it worked out just the way it's worked out with the game meaning so much for both teams, and particularly Boise State. I think there's going to be a ton of Boise State fans, and it's worked out great at a Friday night game and a weekend in Vegas, and obviously a lot on the line as well.
So much on the line. I think fans are stoked for this game. Do you want to play the drop? Or are you good?
You're good.
Okay.
I'll get it ready for 5 minutes from now when it happens again, though.
Perfect. So no, but seriously, there's so much on the line. Fans are so excited about this game, and it's just so funny, BJ, because how many times do we go to UNLV just excited to be able to go to Vegas, right? Like, it's not necessarily for the game. And this time, for the first time, maybe really since we've been covering the team, you feel like there is legit hype around this game. I mean, certainly that was the case a little bit with the Mountain West Conference Championship game last year. But that was the Mountain West Conference Championship, right? Like a regular season matchup between these two teams, it might have more excitement, hype than it ever has. And I got to say, man, Boise State's done their fair share in creating the hype, but a lot of it's been on UNLV. That program hasn't been very good for a long time, and all of a sudden you put Barry Odom at the helm, and now they're going to 2 straight bowl games for the first time in program history. They're 6-1, and are a legit threat to the Broncos, not only winning a Mountain West Conference title, but what could potentially happen after that. So this is a monster game for the Boise State football team.
And one more mention of our trip and Johnny and Prater's trip. I need to thank Simon Avalos, our friend over at Swire Coca-Cola. I'll be drinking a Diet Coke on the show today, but Simon Avalos over at Swire Coca-Cola, they actually made it possible. I don't know why anyone would want to help get Johnny and Prater down to Las Vegas, but we can appreciate and thank Simon Avalos, Swire Coca-Cola, for helping sponsor the Johnny and Prater portion of the trip and making it possible for them to get down there and do their show from the D, and then they're going to be doing their post-game show from Allegiant Stadium after the game. So thank you, and the next time you're heading to the grocery store, check out the great products that Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero have to offer. And thanks again to Simon Avalos. A lot of folks in the chat here, Jay, saying they're nervous about this one. I guess I get it just because of the implications that are on the line. But if you just look at it, I mean, and again, I know the defense, Sam says I'm pretty nervous right here with you. But Todd says less nervous for this one than I was for last year's championship game. Tim says nervous, but confident. I mean, I get it. The area that I would be nervous in is potentially them, Maddox Madsen having a bad interception at some point in this game. I could see that happening, obviously, with them leading the nation or being right there, I guess, number 2 with 13 interceptions. They do get a ton of takeaways, but I mean, you have Ashton Jeanty on this team, and if he's healthy and plays the whole game, you're going to move the ball. So I see why folks would be nervous. Obviously, if you lose this, I mean, your season is on. I mean, this is the toughest remaining of your 5 games. Your season is pretty much on the line in this game ahead of a championship game, obviously. So there is a ton at stake. So from that standpoint, and as you know, Jay, I mean, no game is ever played on paper. I mean, you have to play the game. So certainly stuff can happen. And there's a lot of reasons why this game is a massive game. Vegas only has them as a 3-point favorite, so they expect this to be a really close game. But you have Ashton Jeanty, and the way Boise State's been rolling, I mean, you have to feel pretty good about this game if you're Boise State.
I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. The confidence comes in the fact that Boise State has 2 and UNLV doesn't. But when you said, BJ, what worries me, and I thought this is where you're going to go with it. What worries me? Special teams. And I don't know how many times, again, this is my 14th season of covering the Boise State football team. You're upwards of a dozen years too, if I'm correct.
This is number 12. Yep.
How many times have we spent like a legitimate amount of time at a press conference talking about the opposing team's special teams before? Maybe never.
Yep. And just becoming and the fact that they're that much better than Boise State special teams.
They are. And
it's not just UNLV's being good, it's UNLV's being good combined with Boise State's being below average this year.
UNLV is elite on special teams. They block punts, they get good kick returns, they get good punt returns. I think personally for me, one of the areas that I'm most worried about is special teams. And they have starters all over the place on special teams. And it was funny because after Mountain West Media Days kind of wrapped up, I didn't get a talk with Barry Odom for as long as I wanted to. And I wanted to ask him about, their emphasis on special teams. He said they practice it all the time. They use starters all over the place on special teams. Ricky White is one of the best wide receivers in college football. He's one of the more productive wide receivers over the last 2 years in college football. And he starts on a number of special teams for UNLV. So that is an area where they believe they can create a significant competitive advantage over their opponents, and they often do. I mean, Ricky had a blocked punt in the Syracuse game, which they narrowly lost on a really weird call at the end, kind of, but they use him all over on special teams. And another guy that I personally believe is one of the more underrated players in the Mountain West Conference is Jacob DeJesus. He is outstanding as a returner, both on punt and kickoff. He's sneaky as a wide receiver, and he could be a real X factor beyond the obvious ones in this game. Everybody's going to talk about Ricky White and Jackson Woodard, which they should. But once you kind of get down, past their new QB and all this stuff, like Jacob DeJesus isn't going to get a lot of run when it comes to the hype around this game. But he's absolutely somebody that on Sunday, or on Saturday, he has a chance to wait. Everybody's waking up on Saturday talking about a guy that impacted the game, and it could be Jacob DeJesus.
By the way, apparently Jackson Woodard and Ricky White were dining at Barry's Steakhouse at Circa the other night when I was there for it's just nice to live in Vegas and probably have your meal taken care of when you're a star UNLV player, to go around to the nice steakhouses in town. And I was at Circa with a couple of folks, and one of the guys got a text like, Ricky White and Jackson Woodard are downstairs at Barry's. It's like, but must be nice to be in that. I mean, that's kind of like when people say, Jay Tust is at Chandler's or something. Probably
not really, but I would love. I would love for that to be the case. That would be amazing.
Avery Potter saying special teams will win or lose this game. Nate Staley, if I'm a betting man, they don't let DeJesus touch the ball on special teams. That's what I would do.
Dude, Nate,
keep it out of the damn end zone.
I'm right there with you, but they've executed the plan better in other years. Let's just say that. I don't know how to phrase that so nicely, but I don't think the plan was to always kick the ball to Oregon's return guys, and look what happened there, right? So Boise State's going to have their best game of the year on special teams against UNLV. Like I said, that is really an area where they try to create a competitive advantage. And in a way, BJ, it kind of reminds me of how Boise State built up their brand, 15, 20 years ago, where they would really get after it on special teams, dominate the hidden yards game, and things like that. And so that is a big area of concern for me going into this game. Now, the good news, Boise State's had a bye week, and they're not going to overlook that area. Like, they are going to have to make sure that they have everything solved and figured out on special teams this week. It's not like that's going to be an area where Boise State just can kind of overlook it or glance through, the scouting report this week. That will be a major emphasis, but they will be absolutely tested this week against the Rebels in that area.
Ty Palmer saying his in-laws live in Las Vegas. It'll be the first time he's looked forward to going to Vegas since the last time they played there.
Works for me.
Let's see what else we got here. Line has moved from 2.5 to 3.5. This will be a close game, though. Talking about their quarterback being good the last 3 weeks. Their special teams is elite. Ours is barely keeping it together. And that is another story to this UNLV team. Obviously, we talked about it. Their quarterback not getting the NIL money he thought he was promised or wanted to get, or who knows the exact full story there. But he decides to leave middle of the season. And if you remember, Jackson Woodard, an hour or two later, they sent out the UNLV football account sent out a tweet saying, QB1 or something, and it had a picture of the new quarterback, and Jackson Woodard retweeted it and said about time. And they got behind this kid, and he certainly is no worse, and by a lot of the stats indications better in terms of throwing the ball and running the ball in the combination there than the previous quarterback they had. So they certainly didn't have any kind of drop off that some thought they might, and he kind of helped turn this season around the last couple of weeks here, because after they lost that game to Syracuse, Jay, it was kind of like, wow, that's not a great loss at home, and and they're kind of not looking at them for the playoff and all that. But I mean, if they were to run the table here and have, a win and maybe 2 wins over Boise State, they certainly, they certainly would be in the mix. I mean, if we're all expecting Army and Navy to probably lose to Notre Dame, I mean, if that happens, the Mountain West winner is probably, with one loss, Mountain West winner is probably right there in it. So by no means, I mean, are they a favorite at this point? No, but by no means is UNLV out of this if they were to run the table. And so they go into this game feeling really, really good. And a lot of it is because of the play of their quarterback.
Yeah. So Haj comes in, man, and what a storyline for the UNLV football team to try to navigate through and work around. But they did it like it was nothing. Like they replaced the starting quarterback, a few games into the season following their best start in 40 years or something like that. And I actually think the offense managed to get better, which is wild to me. But if you look at Haj's numbers, I mean, the dude's completing over 70% of his passes. His quarterback efficiency rating, BJ, is 183.4. Now, he hasn't played in enough games yet for him to qualify nationally on those rankings. But following the Boise State game, that should be enough playing time to qualify him, right? And once that happens, that quarterback efficiency rating not only will be the best in the Mountain West, it'll be one of the best in the country. He will be third if he holds, true to that number, through the Boise State game. But his number right now would rank third in college football, barely behind Cam Ward. I mean, he's just been really good. And I don't know what happened at the beginning of the season to, make Barry Odom and the company and the staff over there think that they wanted to go in another direction. They obviously know what they're doing because they're winning at a very, very high level in this era. But man, he has been really good, and I feel like he's almost kind of unlocked what they can do offensively to where they were more of a ground and pound kind of a approach. But I mean, comparatively here, Matthew Sluka was more of a running quarterback, BJ, but I mean, they've almost started the exact same amount of games, right? And Haj has 36 pass plays of 10 or more yards. Matthew Sluka had 11. So just a little, hint right there or whatever, a little insight as to how much more explosive they've been, especially in the passing game with Haj at QB versus Sluka.
Todd says they'll get pressure on him like they did against Gabriel, force some bad throws. He did that at Oregon State. Get some pressure, turn up the heat a little bit.
I hope you're right, because that's another area where I'm a little worried, to be honest with you. He's been pretty good against the blitz this year, and much better than Sluka was for that matter, at least throwing the football. So that has been Boise State's bread and butter, bringing pressure and getting home and hitting the quarterback. And they're going to have to do it this game better than they have all year, maybe.
And when you talked about, the Jesus, but I mean, Ricky White, and we he's kind of the, I don't say elephant in the room here, but I mean, he's obviously one of the premier players in the country on the West Coast, however you want to phrase it. And I know early in the season, maybe his stats didn't line up because, as you said, Sluka, not the greatest, passing quarterback. But so I think the overall numbers with Ricky White aren't necessarily a fair judge of his, play. And you can throw in the special teams and the 3 blocks there. But I mean, at receiver, whether it be Royals or some of these receivers we've seen already this season, like some receivers have had some success against Boise State this year. And so if Ricky White goes off, that's going to be tough to overcome for Boise State.
Well, BJ, with Sluka at QB, Ricky had consecutively in games, he had 2 catches, 5 catches, and 3 catches. And against your alma mater, those 3 catches covered. Do you know how many yards he had?
10.
4.
Wow. Okay.
3 catches for 4
We have
yards.
a defense, man. We're the best 2-5 team in the country.
Apparently. So again, so now ever since the QB change, his stat line, BJ, in 4 games now, 10 for 127, 2 touchdowns, 10 for 135, 1 touchdown, 7 for 138, 2 touchdowns, 9 for 88 and 1 touchdown. Like I'm
His worst game was 7 catches.
for his worst receiving total 7 catches, his worst yardage total 88 catches, and he's had at least 1 touchdown in every game since Hodge took over. Ricky White is the real deal, man. And you know, I don't know. Obviously, Boise State fans are going to be rooting against this kid on Friday night, and I get that. But if you talk with him, Ricky reminds you of a Boise State football player, kind of to do whatever it takes to help a team win. I mean, he is their version of Ashton Jeanty. Big playability, will go on and make plays in the league one day. Super smooth on the football field. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we'll play all over the place on special teams because that's what the team needs. He's got a little bit of a blue collar mentality to him for sure. And on top of all that, you know, I asked him down at Mountain West Media Days following his season last year where, you know, he posted 1,483 yards and 88 catches. You know, he had some interest too. You know, maybe not to the level of Ashton Jeanty, but there are certain people out there, programs out there that would love to add wide receivers that had almost 1,500 yards with eligibility remaining, right? And he's still at UNLV. And so I think that he's a guy that sees the bigger picture, likes winning. I don't want to try to put words in his mouth here, but I really respect Ricky White and his game. And after the game on Friday, you know, Bronco Nation, hopefully you guys are all celebrating a victory, but tip your cap to number 11 afterwards because he's the real deal over there.
Well, we'll get back to the secondary for Boise State and some of the turnover problems and the glaring turnover discrepancy in this game in just a second. But I do want to thank a couple of our loyal sponsors here at Bronco Nation News. Western Collective, they got the brewery in Garden City. Make sure you check them out. Or obviously their various beers, seltzers, vodka sodas, all their great drinks are available throughout the Treasure Valley, the state of Idaho. And again, the Horseshoe Golden Ale and the Orange Chaos Seltzer, where a portion of the proceeds goes back to the collective. You can purchase those at Albertson Stadium or your most local retailers. We appreciate Western Collective. Our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, whether it's the concrete coatings for your basement, your back patio, your garage, you can transform that ugly looking slab in one day, or if it's the interior, exterior, residential painting, commercial, industrial, they do it all your painting needs. Check out our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out. I know you may be happy with your banking experience, but if you're not, you'll be much happier if you make the switch. And I'm still mad I didn't make the switch earlier because we just love everything about ICCU. Check them out online. Find a branch near you, ICCU.com. Matt Boucher Real Estate. We saw his photo there. He got to go to the private scrimmage the other day. We saw him in the corner of the background of the photo that Boise State posted. So you know you're big time when you get to go to the private closed scrimmage that no fans or media are supposed to go to. So Boucher Real Estate, part of the Boise State home team. Kelly, Cade, Sarah, Matt, the whole crew. We bought and sold our home with Matt and did a tremendous job. We're super appreciative and thankful. Check them out online, BoucherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, 13 locations across the state of Idaho. They've got others in surrounding states. ShopRidleys.com, ShopRidleys.com. And again, save up to 40% off at the checkout line with their mobile app, the Skip app. And again, you can find a location near you online, ShopRidleys.com. Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game, whether it's a spa for the back patio, whether it's a pool table for the game room, maybe a sauna, they can take care of you at Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Check them out at thespateam.com. And our friends at Lithia Ford of Boise, hope you enjoyed the event on Saturday. I know a lot of you guys made it over there. All the NIL guys were signing autographs, taking pictures. So check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. View that full inventory of vehicles or just stop by and see them right there on Fairview. Lithia Ford Boise, great time to purchase a F-150, all the various vehicles they have there. So we appreciate Jim Sturk and Jamie Drake and the whole crew over there at Lithia Ford of Boise. And make sure you next time you purchase a car or truck, Lithia Ford Boise, huge supporters of the Broncos, huge supporters of Bronco Nation News, and make sure that purchase is at Lithia Ford of Boise. All right, Jay, the turnover battle here. You talk about it's not very often that we're talking about special teams. And by the way, there was a couple comments about Stacey Collins, or maybe we go back to special teams for 1 minute. Special teams, I mean, they did. They paid more money than they've ever paid, Jay, for a non-coordinator ever at Boise State football, based on the numbers I see, to bring in Stacey Collins. We like Stacey Collins. He's a great guy. He seems like he's had success everywhere he's gone. He's a special teams guru, but for whatever reason, I mean, they did have the Dylan Riley kick return. I mean, they've scored on special teams, but they had a couple blocks, I think, in one of the games as well. But overall, for the most part, I think you're at a 50-50 at best, and probably still a net loss, I guess you would say, in terms of special teams, when it literally lost you a game at Oregon that would have you undefeated and in the top 5 right now. Where are you overall? Because I'm not saying Stacey Collins is the problem here, but I mean, he obviously came in and had a big task to turn this thing around, but it has not worked out as well as they thought they would to this point on special teams. There's no denying that. Yeah.
I would probably agree that overall it's a net loss, and it's really just going to be hard to shake what happened against Oregon. Like, that's just going to be something that's really, really hard to shake. I will say this: since the Oregon game, they've allowed 1 punt return for 9 yards. So they when it comes to the punt coverage unit, they've done a much better job ever since that happened. And really, for the most part, the same can be said on special teams, on kickoff as well. Ever since the Oregon game, where they allowed, that devastating kickoff return, opponents aren't even averaging above 17 yards per punt return in any individual game. Overall, it's down near about 14 or 15 yards. So the kick return, punt return units have, kickoff coverage and punt coverage units have certainly been better, but it's just going to be really hard to kind of shake what happened in that game. Dylan Riley having that kickoff return was massive, because you feel like all of a sudden they're getting a little bit closer to figuring this out. But punt return, we still have not really seen much of anything in terms of being able to flip the field and stuff like that. I think, Cooper Jones had a nice punt return at Oregon. Latrell Caples also had a nice punt return at Oregon. And, I know Latrell being banged up has maybe kind of altered some of their plans on punt there for a few games, and who knows what that'll look like moving forward. But they haven't necessarily generated that explosive field flipping punt return very often here through 6 games.
They also haven't really generated that explosive field flipping, game changing takeaway either. I mean, they had a couple big ones in the Oregon game, obviously, the fumbles that led to them taking the lead in that game. But those were 2 of the 4 takeaways they have on the, or 2 of the 5 takeaways I guess they have on the entire season, Jay. And so, the only good thing about this is they're not, knock on wood, they're doing a pretty good job of taking care of the ball themselves offensively, which has made this maybe not quite as glaring. I mean, Boise State's, plus 0.17 in the turnover battle. They're tied for 61st overall because they're plus 1. They've, only given it up 4 times. They've taken it away 5, but that's a number you'd see after like 2 games, typically 2 or 3 games, not 6, not halfway through the season. It's just crazy. And they're historic numbers we're seeing here, both on Boise State taking care of the ball and also Boise State not creating the turnovers. So, and you look at this matchup, and again, 13 interceptions, tied for 2nd in the country for UNLV, 16 total takeaways for UNLV's defense, ranks 4th most in the country. They're plus 12 in the turnover battle, which is 3rd in the country as well, almost 2 per game. And again, they're taking it away, Jay, but they've only given up 4 as well. They're tied with Boise State for 5th lowest in terms of takeaways. So, UNLV's offense, both sides, but their offense is not giving it up. Their defense is getting them, and that's why you look at their record is where it is. So everybody knows for Boise State, I mean, the 1 interception on the season, 132nd in the country. You never want to be tied with Kennesaw State and Air Force for much of anything defensively, Jay. And Boise State tied for the fewest interceptions at 1. The 5 total takeaways on defense is 117th in the country. I mean, the number, I could keep going on and on here. I mean, the numbers are not good. And this seems like the game where it's all going to come to a head one way or the other. They've got to find a way to create some takeaways on defense. And if they are not able to, again, protect the ball, if this is the game they suddenly have 3 takeaways on offense or turn the ball over 3 times, they could be in some trouble. I know it's Kent Riddle gives me crap for it. He says, oh, shocker, red zone, take turnover margin, special teams. Like I always say, the keys to the game are kind of the obvious football, like keys to the game. But I really do think in this game, that turnover margin, that turnover battle is going to be huge.
You're right. And I think so. Boise State hasn't been able to force turnovers, right, BJ? So
at a historically low pace.
So if I'm being honest, like, yeah, we can be hopeful and optimistic. They get 3 picks on Saturday. We're 6 games into the season. And at this point in time in the season, you kind of are who you are, in my opinion. So again, I personally kind of believe that maybe just the style of this team and what they want to accomplish on defense doesn't lend itself to creating a bunch of turnovers. They bring a lot of pressure. They use defensive backs to bring pressure at times, meaning they leave a lot of guys in man coverage at times. And so I don't know, like, the percentage of man versus zone that Boise State plays against everybody, or, plays versus everybody else in the country, but I'm guessing it's a little bit higher. And because of that, you're not sitting back in windows and maybe anticipating and reading things like you might be in zone coverage to go and get a football. And so what that means to me is, if that's not necessarily who Boise State is, how do they combat, that problem? One way is to not turn the ball over. You touched on that. Boise State has been very good this year at not turning the ball over. So if you don't turn it over, by nature, there is less of an emphasis to go get turnovers and try to create extra possessions. Where I think this game could be determined, and apparently Kent Riddle won't like this, is you bring up the red zone. And I actually think that this one does come down to performance in the red zone. And UNLV has kicked a lot of field goals in the red zone, right? And so if Boise State can continue to force them to kick field goals, I think that could be a huge advantage. It's to the point, BJ, where UNLV has kicked 15 field goals inside the red zone. That is more than any other program in the country at this point in time in the season. Meanwhile, Boise State has been one of the best teams in the country in the red zone at scoring touchdowns in the red zone, right? Except for the Hawaii game. And asked Dirk Koetter about it a little bit yesterday, and I thought that's where he'd go with it, and that's kind of where he did go with it. Boise State was leading 13-7 in that game, and they had kicked 2 field goals. I mean, we're talking about like a 24 and a 23-yard field goal. I mean, they were in the low red zone and just kind of had to settle for 6 points, where in every other game this year, that was 14. And you feel a lot different about that game if it's 21-7 in, early in the third quarter at halftime versus 13-7. So that's just I think that whoever has the ability to score touchdowns on Friday inside the red zone is going to be the team that walks away with the victory. And again, 7 games if you're UNLV, you kind of are who you are at this point in time in the season. Boise State has scored on 75%. They've scored a touchdown on 75% of their trips inside the red zone. UNLV down near 52%, which is second worst in the Mountain West Conference. So I think very highly of this UNLV team. I really do. But if you look for how to combat their advantages in turnover battle and special teams, Boise State not turning the ball over and scoring touchdowns in the red zone is going to be a huge factor in this football game on Friday.
I'm blaming you for this, Jay. Jennifer says, very negative show. Just saying. Hey, there's some stats there's some stats and we're trying to give it to you for both sides here. And I think that, Boise State's rolling, but there's some areas that aren't perfect yet. And I think UNLV has some areas that are in a better spot than them going into this game. We're just being honest.
Both these teams, Boise State's 5-1, UNLV is 6-1. Boise State's in the top 25. As Spencer Danielson said yesterday, I think that UNLV deserves to be closer to the top 25 than they are. Heck, Spencer Danielson said UNLV should be in the top 25. I think that what we're just trying to convey is it's not often that you're legitimately, I don't know if concerned is the right word, but like really focused on some of the players on the opposing team. Like it just doesn't happen very often. When you're covering the Boise State football team, it's usually like, oh, this quarterback is good, or this guy over here is good. But UNLV legit has a lot of great players, and it's just worth highlighting. So when you're watching the game on Friday night, if number 11 for UNLV is having a bad night or a good night, you have the proper perspective. If they're able to contain him, then that's a massive deal. And what I will say to that, I mentioned Boise State plays a lot of man.
Yeah.
Ricky's done a lot of his damage against zone this year. And so it's not to say he can't beat man, because he absolutely can. But I'm just saying, like, he's done a lot of his damage versus zone this year. So we'll have to wait and see on Friday night, but we're just trying to offer you the proper perspective. And more than anything, if somebody's telling you that UNLV is playing with their number 2 quarterback, you need to dismiss that, because this guy is really, really good. And in terms of his efficiency numbers, he's playing as good as any quarterback in college football right now. And you can legitimately say that. And
not to speak for you, Jay, but I think we both think Boise State's going to win this game, or that we feel pretty good about them playing well in this game. So I think we're just kind of presenting the fact that it may not be the easiest game everybody thinks it's going to be. And this is by far, I think, their best of their 5 remaining opponents. And this is their biggest hurdle, I think, remaining to try to win out and get to the college football playoff. But so I think we both feel pretty good about this game. But with that said, there are some areas where, and there'd be some things where if they don't win, you're going to be able to point to some of these key areas. I think Brandon says that Washington State should be ranked too.
They almost are. They're right outside the top 25. They're not ranked 26 because the rankings don't go beyond 25, in my opinion. But they're the next team right below, who is 25. So they're right there too. Which that's what's funny to me. Somebody tweeted at me yesterday, like, "Oh, the best win is or their best games this season are a loss at Oregon and a win at Georgia Southern." Well, that's just not true, because they beat a really good Washington State team that's already bowl eligible and sitting at 6-1 too. So I just disagree with that. And there's another thing too. Like, if Boise State were to win on Friday, this isn't just another win against UNLV. This is a win against a really, really good football team.
Yeah,
and it's one that, even if Boise State wins on Friday, like, you just don't pack it in and chalk it up as a victory this season, because you might see them again. And I believe it was
see him in Boise, though, which is another reason why a win is very important.
Was it our guy Dayton Robinson that tweeted this out?
Yes.
Did you see that about Colorado State?
Yep.
Okay,
I mean, they have to play at Fresno. They play at Nevada as well. They've got a couple of tricky games left, but I mean, because they don't play UNLV or Boise State, if they run the table, then whoever loses this game would be out.
I mean, I love our guy Dayton. He's a super supporter and all that stuff. But if you don't think Colorado State's going to slip up somewhere, you haven't been paying attention to Colorado State football for the last X amount.
Well, you're saying the point was they don't control their own destiny.
I'm just having some fun with it. I get it. I love it. I think Colorado State needs to be on high alert this weekend personally, but that's just me.
Todd says mark it down 55-31 is how he's feeling for this one. We are going to hear in a couple minutes from RJ Keene. He put together a cool little package for Signature Roofing with his NIL deal. He went around the parking lot before the Utah State game, Jay, and interviewed some fans and had some. You'd be amazed how many people wearing Boise State stuff tailgating can't answer pretty obvious questions about Boise State football. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but while we still have you, Jay, he mentioned 55-31, and that would be more on pace with how last year's game went. And I thought some interesting comments from Dirk Koetter talking about how he doesn't see last year's game going like this year, or this year's game going like last year's. And he mentioned that the coaches didn't know if they'd have a job after that game, and so they kind of let it all hang out there, maybe calling some different plays, trick plays, just kind of airing it out a little more. Like, what do you make of Dirk Koetter's comments that that's not going to be our game plan? It's going to be a much different game than last year's game.
I thought it was interesting. I mean, it was also a little insight as to what that staff was thinking. Like, it's time to empty the playbook and go after it and get after a win here. And it all worked out for them.
I was trying to remember, though, they didn't run a ton of trick plays, did they?
They run I think there was a flea flicker to Austin Bolt. Taylon Green used his legs more than ever in that game last year. There was that screen pass to Riley Smith that he rumbled for 32 yards.
It was like the first play of the game, maybe. Or
Yeah,
I guess I just didn't remember it being like running 20 trick plays where they emptied the playbook, but they may have been opened it up a little more in terms of the downfield passing and some of that, and as you mentioned, some of the running stuff. But yeah, it very interesting.
His point was some of the things that happened in that game. You know, he said, I don't want to say lucky because that's not the case. They still went out and executed it, right? But some of the things that happened in that game, you can't just expect to transition over to like this game. Like there might have been a little bit of luck involved, or maybe they were a little more aggressive in areas where, you know, you don't feel like you have to be because you have Ashton Jeanty reloaded right now, right? So that I think that's just kind of where his mindset is at with this thing. And I'm excited to see what that means, because you know Dirk's going to be ready to go. Like you know he's going to be ready to go. If UNLV creates a bunch of turnovers, that means they're super aggressive defense. If so, how do you get after them? And Dirk will have that figured out. And I mean, you go back and you look at some of the things even they did against Hawaii. I know that the total number of points wasn't that great, but you can still see Dirk just going to work. I love the touchdown play to Ashton Jeanty. And then right back, they come back with a 2-point conversion where they use a really similar motion with Latrell Caples. And you can see the guy that's trying to motion across the formation with Latrell gets lost because Latrell kind of sinks his hips and hides behind the line. And it made everybody take a bump out of man. And then, Austin Bolt was wide open. But Dirk is, I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying this because it's so obviously true. Like he's so good at his job, and he'll have the boys ready. He'll have the boys ready, and Andy has number 2 at his disposal in the backfield. And I think this is going to be another. What was it? I think it was the Washington State game where early in the week, Ashton told us that Dirk went by him and said, "Hey, this could be a 25+ carry game for you." I'm going to assume that they probably walked by each other yesterday and had a very similar conversation about going down to UNLV.
You said Ashton told us. That was nice. Taco Bell. Hey, I need one basketball thought from you before we let you go here, but I got to thank a couple sponsors real quick. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out. The SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. It's a Taco Bell Tuesday here. So whether it's that Cantina Bowl, the cheesy roll-ups, so many great options, the chalupas, the tacos. Check them out. Taco Bell, quick, easy, affordable meal, delicious food. And again, they're hiring as well. So check them out online, TacoBellWorks.com. Speaking of jobs, transportation compliance service, check them out, transcompservice.com. Get into the trucking industry, all the paperwork and permits and things you need. They can help you out. It's a local company helping folks all over the world. Check them out, transcompservice.com. The Blue and Orange Store, Travis Oxen Company. If you want to help support Ashton Jeanty, they've got his hats, they've got his shirts, all of his NIL gear, and he gets a portion of the proceeds. So head on into the Blue and Orange Store. Tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News as well. Maybe they'll hook you up with a discount or something. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. And again, online, you can order from anywhere in the world. They deliver. Or just you can go to the Boise Town Square Mall there on the second floor, and they've got the great deals and the clearance rack there in the front. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Again, hoping on Monday you can get that 91-cent sack from Jackson's. Ahmed Hassanin and company. If he gets a sack, you get a coffee or fountain drink for 91 cents at Jackson's. Go support our friends at Jackson's. They're the sponsor of tonight's Riley and Ridge show. We'll see you at the James Kitchen and Bar, 8 o'clock tonight. For Riley and Rid. Looking forward to that. Riley and Rid tonight at 8 o'clock on Bronco Nation News, live from the James. Thanks to our friends at Jackson's. And remember, 25 cents from every hot dog sold goes to support the Horseshoe Collective. So next time you're looking for a quick place to stop, get some gas, get a snack, make it Jackson's. And, of course, leanfeastmeridian.com. They've got 10,000-plus combinations. Again, 10,000 plus meal combinations. They deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. You choose it. It's all custom made. It's all fresh. It's not frozen. And they deliver. And as I said, you choose how much of what you want, all different diets, and then it's good in your refrigerator for 5 days. Take it into work, pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and you're good to go. And that's at our friends at Lean Feast. And don't forget, you need that sprinkler blowout this time of year. Hit up our friend Alex Martin, 208lawnandlandscape.com. If you got a kid's birthday party or something, he can do these bounce houses as well. But perfect time for that final landscaping job of the fall, and including the sprinkler blowout. Let them get your property ready for the wintertime. Alex Martin, check him out online, 208lawnandlandscape.com. All right, Jay, a lot of we're going to play this RJ Keene video in a minute here, but a lot of people were asking about the Washington scrimmage and then wondering about the BYU scrimmage. The BYU scrimmage is Saturday. Saturday is the BYU scrimmage at BYU. Somebody was asking about that. It's at BYU on Saturday. Any takeaways that you were told or heard or saw, or just any thoughts from the why are you smiling? You're on mute again. Who texted you?
I'm watching highlights of the Boise State scrimmage versus UW right now.
All right, I'm going to get them ready. What are you seeing in those highlights? I'll try to pull them off Twitter real quick and play them while we're talking.
I'm telling you, I'm stoked about it because usually we never get to see anything from these close scrimmages.
Scrimmage now includes video highlights from the scrimmage.
I'll take it. I'm not even mad. I love it. I'm stoked about it. Watching David Buchanan go to work in the low post here.
The exact rule. I see Mike Reed's one of the officials. Why is that the first thing I noticed? All right. Let's see here if I can present this in. But okay, you saw the stats. Obviously, a big game for Degenhart Stanley. We saw 16 points for Javen Buchanan. Again, any thoughts from you from the first scrimmage for Boise State?
A little pick and pop by.
Hold on a second. Don't. I'm going to get it on here in a second here.
I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that this morning. So that's cool to see. But this team's going to be really good this year. I don't know even how much more I need to add to that. I mean, they crushed Danny Sprinkle and the Washington Huskies. They beat him pretty good. You can see the score in the background of these highlights too, for that matter. If you don't believe BJ, yeah, there's Javen Buchanan, the transfer, a little pocket pick with the dunk. Here's Alvaro stepping out to hit a three. Omar Stanley going to work. He had 17 and 8. How about Ugbo, by the way? Did you I don't know if I knew that he was lethal from long range yet.
No.
I'll take it, man. He might be a little more versatile than I knew.
Vern Harris and Mike Reed for a preseason scrimmage. Wow. Look at Javen Buchanan down low there as well. So I'll play it through one more time while we're talking, but there he is again, man. Everybody wondered how his game was going to translate from the NAI level to Division I, and at least in one preseason scrimmage. And again, I don't think Washington's going to be super great. Like, obviously they have great Osabor. They have, guy getting $2 million in NIL money, but also don't exactly know how good they're going to be. So we don't want to put too much into it, but obviously some encouraging signs.
They're not going to be terrible. I mean, I have all the confidence in the world. If Danny Sprinkle could turn around Utah State with what he was given in a year, I think that he's going to do just fine at the University of Washington. But I would be super encouraged by what we heard and saw, from that scrimmage. And now they have to go on the road. So going to BYU will be a little bit of a different story. Hopefully, there's more positive news that comes out of that. But I'm really excited about basketball season, man. They got good talent. They got good kids, an elite coaching staff, in my opinion, that extends far down the bench. This is a group that is just connected on a lot of levels, and they get it. And I would be really excited about basketball season if I were you.
Well, again, Signature Roofing, we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. They've got an NIL deal with RJ Keene, so we're super thankful and appreciative. Signature Roofing, and you're going to be getting content all season long from RJ Keene, and he's got an NIL deal, again, with Signature Roofing. Signature Roofing is doing some advertising with us as well. They're sponsoring those voicemails, so excited for this, Jay. RJ Keene going around interviewing Boise State students, fans, tailgaters at outside before the Utah State game. Let's take a look what RJ Keene put together for us. This is his editing, his video. This is all RJ Keene, and it's brought to you by our friends at Signature Roofing.
I'm RJ. We're going to go interview random fans. Tons of giveaways to give out. Let's see if they know some questions about Boise State football and basketball. We'll see you out there. Can I ask you a question to win a jersey? Who's your favorite Boise State football player?
Ashton Jeanty.
All right, Josh. What do we have for him?
Jersey, baby. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo! What's your name, buddy?
Jackson.
Jackson, it's nice to meet you. I'm RJ.
Okay.
Can you name one Boise State football player right now?
The running back, what's his name?
Jeanty.
Is he your favorite player?
Not ever, but on Boise State.
On Boise State is your favorite?
Yes.
Do you want a jersey?
Please? Yes, please.
All right, give it to me, Josh. Here you go, buddy. If you get a couple of these questions right, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card to Idaho Pizza.
All right. Hey, I love Idaho Pizza. We order from it all the time, so I'm very excited about this.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Craig, and we live in Eagle.
You live in Eagle. Are you a diehard Boise State fan?
I've been coming here. I graduated from Boise State in 1987. We came here to these tailgates when we were the only ones in here having a tuna fish sandwich.
This is my guy to interview. I love to hear that, sir. All right, first question.
I have another thing. And I was homecoming king in 1987. Thank you.
Woo!
I forgot that part.
All right, name your starting quarterback from 1987.
The starting quarterback in 1987 was Gerald Dupree.
Dupree, that's a crazy pull. All right, I like that. You got two more right, you win the gift card.
All right.
Name 3 NFL running backs that played at Boise State.
Jay Ajayi, Doug Martin, and Cedric Minter.
Bang!
Boom!
Last one, let's make it an easy one. Name 4 current players at Boise State, football and basketball.
Oh my gosh, 4 each?
Yep, 4 each.
Man, that's tough. Okay, I'll start with football. Okay, obviously we've got we've got Ashton Jeanty.
Yep.
Hey, come here. Hey,
You can bring one in.
come here. Name 3 more players. Here we go. Here they are. We got
Bang!
Dunbar. Look at this. Yep,
We got McCoy, and then you got Danielson. I'll rip
we
it.
got the coach who is the best player on the team.
I agree with that. Danielson is the best guy ever.
Yes, he is. We love him so hard. He is a good culture guy. Very excited to have him as a head coach.
Sir, here you go.
Pizza!
Heck yeah. What's your name?
Sherman Freeman.
Sherman Freeman. Can you answer this question right to win a free hat?
Okay.
Can you name our starting quarterback, running back, and 1 receiver?
Ashton Jeanty.
Bang.
Manic Manson.
Bang.
And something Camper.
Camper. That is correct. Here you go, sir. All right. We're going to ask you a question and win a gift card to Idaho Pizza. You like Idaho Pizza?
I go every Wednesday.
It looks like next Wednesday could be free and on us.
Okay, I'm listening.
Can you name 5 Boise State men's basketball players that are currently playing?
Now I got to think for a minute.
Oh, 1 more.
Meadows.
Bang! It was nice meeting you.
I'm a player. I go there.
Here you go, sir. Thank you so much. It was good seeing you.
It's good seeing you.
And good meeting you. Oh, great talking to you. I'll see you around for sure.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yep, it was nice meeting you.
I'm section 11.
Section 11? I'll look for you.
You come in from that area, we're right there.
All right, I'll look for you. I'll throw a little wave next
I
game.
want you to hit some more 3-pointers this year.
All right, I will. I know, I did.
You got a promise or a threat?
It's a promise.
Thank you.
I'll shoot it more. Thank you, sir.
Who's the freshman running back? Sire.
Bang. Which one do you want? Pro Image.
Do it, dog.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for doing it.
I mean, I could go on. I don't need cheating.
She don't need cheating. Here you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name?
Selena.
Selena Marjay. Nice to meet you. Go Broncos. Bang. Here you go. Brand new Nike hat. Yes, sir. The liquor's talking over here.
What's up?
Correct. Here you go, brother.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
man.
you.
Yeah, RJ.
Hell yeah.
Have a good season.
Yeah, thank you, man. Can I ask you a question to win a Dutch Bros gift card? Can you name our head football coach?
What is it?
Coach Pete.
Coach.
You said Coach Pete? Oh! That's like 5 generations ago. Let's go to the next people. Wrap it up. Well, thank you. Can you name, for 2 Dutch Bros gift cards, can you name our current Boise State football coach and basketball coach?
No, I cannot.
You cannot?
Cannot.
You can't name our football coach?
No.
Then what are you guys doing here if you don't know our football coach?
Avalos, right?
It was. For a Dutch Bros gift card, can you name our head football coach? How do we not know this question? Right over here. Here you go, big dog. $10 at Dutch Bros.
Where do you play football?
Where do you play football?
The Pacific.
Yeah, and count.
He's a baller at Azusa Pacific. That's where he cut his teeth. Hell of a freaking football coach. And the players freaking love that guy, dude. He's the man.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. Yep. Players love him. Ain't nobody going the transfer portal because of Coach Danielson. I'll tell you that much.
He's the greatest.
All right. Love
Thank
you guys.
Yep. What's your name, sir?
Ron Dalby.
Ron. Can you name 3 NFL players that played at Boise State?
Clady, Shakir, Moore.
Can you name 5?
Clady, Lawrence.
This is a winner. Ron, here you go, brother. Thank you. It was nice meeting you, RJ. Go Broncos. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to win a new hat?
A new hat.
Yeah, if you answer this question right.
True, false, C, A.
It's not totally correct quite yet, but can you name our starting quarterback?
Yes. Oh my God. And I feel like the guy on.
You got the chain on and everything and can't name the starting quarterback?
I feel like the dumb guy on Tonight Show.
Are you starstruck right now? What's going on?
I'm like freaked out, man. I haven't been drinking yet.
You better get started.
I know. What the hell? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Family friendly. You're wearing a chain, a hat, in the Jay Ajayi jersey. You can't name the starting quarterback. Kellen Moore is not here anymore, I don't think.
I got his jersey on my wall at work.
You don't have Maddox's jersey on your wall?
No.
Who's our starting quarterback at Boise State? I have no idea. Oh, my goodness.
Maddox, right?
Yep, there you go. Here you go. You got a new hat. It's nice meeting you.
You're so stupid. I feel like the guy in Jay Leno,
Want a Timber Coffee gift card? Mount Town? For sure. Oh, for sure. Do you guys know Boise State trivia?
Yes.
Really?
No.
All right.
I don't go to Boise State, but yeah, I'll figure
What's y'all's names?
I'm Hadley. I'm Gracie.
I'm RJ. It's nice meeting you. Nice to meet you. Can you name one current Boise State football player, each of y'all?
Ashton. Maddox.
Bang.
Yeah! Let's go!
There we go.
I could have done basketball too.
Get the other gift card, Allie.
Max and Jace and Andrew Medley.
Andrew who?
Medley.
That is not correct.
Wait, that's not his name?
Meadow.
Meadow. That was close enough.
Medley? We'll give a Medley. Come on, give her the Medley one.
Yeah, come on, she's got one.
You sure?
Yeah, pass them on to someone else.
All right, we will. Thank you.
We'll take one. Pass one on to someone else.
All right, deal.
Deal.
You have a wonderful day.
You guys have a great day.
We will.
There you go. Not sure what to say about that. Thank you, RJ Keene, for putting that together. Great stuff. Thanks again. Signature Roofing. Again, mysignatureroofing.com. Check them out. We're actually getting ready to do a new roof for the Rains family next week. And so we're appreciative and thankful to Signature Roofing, Joel and Watts and the whole crew over there. We appreciate them. mysignatureroofing.com. If you're looking for a re-roof, construction, new roof, all various options. They've got all the different kinds of shingles and things. So mysignatureroofing.com. But man, that was pretty eye-opening, and we didn't just kind of edit that. I mean, there was a lot of people that did not know some pretty basic questions about Boise State. So I don't know if they'd been enjoying the beverages there too much in the parking lot or what, but yeah, to not know the head coach of the football team is pretty crazy when you're wearing a Boise State shirt in the parking lot. So yeah, that was someone said that was eye-opening. I kind of agree there. But yeah, there was that was certainly interesting to say the least. But again, thanks to RJ Keene, thanks to My Signature Roofing, and yeah, Andrew Medley. What we heard, we asked someone to name Boise State players, and they named like 5 guys that were no longer on the team. There was Robbie Robinson said his company's gonna have to buy him a new machine because of the dents from him smacking his head into it repeatedly. I'm not sure what my favorite, the Medley one there at the end was kind of funny. There was a lot of good ones. Can I see a question? Okay. Like this. Oh man, that was funny. We're going to get that posted on social media if you missed any of it, and you can rewatch that at some point here. But again, Bronco Nation news heading down to UNLV. Hopefully you will join us on Friday. I mean, this is pretty crazy when you think about it. They're giving out 2 free drinks to everybody. free drinks, no strings attached. You show up, you get 2 free drinks. That's something that I don't think they've ever done before, but we're hoping to pack the place, get them a big crowd. I know of at least like 75 people that are coming as part of the True Blue travel group. So if you want to hang with other Boise State fans and, maybe be in the background of a BNN pregame show or be on KTIK, let us know because we're going to have live broadcasts. Prater in the ball game. They'll be there 2 to 5 Pacific time, 3 to 5:30 is the party. And again, we'll be doing a live pregame show for Bronco Nation News during that as well. So a lot of live shows, a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, 95.3 the ticket. And it's going to be a fun show on Friday. Bronco Nation News as well. So again, 3 to 5:30 on Friday. Bar Canada. It's on the second floor of the D. It's down there on Fremont Street. So come on down, walk Fremont Street, have some fun. Maybe go up to Circa, check out Stadium Swim. But come on down at 3 o'clock to Bar Canada, 3 to 5:30. Just kind of an open happy hour type thing. We may even have some appetizers. We'll see. But 3 to 5:30 at Bar Canada inside the D Casino and Hotel on Fremont Street. And again, 2 free drinks if you're wearing Boise State gear. So can't wait to see folks there for that. And again, we're still taking your voicemails. I haven't really been pushing this very much. We haven't had any on in a couple of days, but Signature Roofing, again, we appreciate them. Speakpipe.com/BNN. So do it right now when the show ends. Get it in, and we'll play it tomorrow. And we're going to give away a $25 gift card to the James Kitchen and Bar or the Blue and Orange Store. You can pick $25 to the James Kitchen and Bar or the Blue and Orange Store for the best voicemail this week. So speakpipe.com/BNN. You can give your thoughts on the UNLV game, your score prediction, your concerns, your worries, anything that you want to talk about, conference realignment, the CFP rankings, basketball, anything you want to throw out there. We'll get that for you, and that'll be speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail. And again, we'll give the best one. We'll play some every day this week, and we'll play the best one on the shows, and then we will give away a gift card to the best one there at the end of the week. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. We had an issue with the live streaming yesterday. I apologize for that, but we were not able to live stream the presser. But I did get all 3 coaches, Spencer, Dirk, and Eric Chenander, up on our YouTube channel. So you can go back on our YouTube channel and watch the full press conferences from those guys. And they're up there now. We're talking to a couple of players today after practice as well. So looking forward to that. And then obviously we will have stuff throughout the week posted to YouTube. Does that mean that I am wearing BSU gear for free drinks? I think we know the answer to that, Ashley. No. And I won't be drinking before the game anyway. So maybe if Boise State wins, we bring the post-game party back to Circa or the D, and then I'll partake in plenty of beverages. But no, not before the game. No, it's not fully because I won't be wearing Boise State gear. No, and I know you're being funny about that. But no, we have a pregame show to do and a game to cover and a postgame show to do. But maybe if it's a nice night and Boise State wins, we can all meet back up for the postgame show somewhere and enjoy a couple of cold ones at that point. But it's going to be fun. I know a ton of people going down. I think this may be one of the best road attended games in a while. I mean, you had 5 months to plan this, think about this. I know there's some travel packages. Like I said, I know True Blue Travel, the one we did with BNN's got 75 people. There's a lot of other people going down. I know Riley Smith, Kent Riddle, they're going to be down there, and we're going to get them over to come and hang at the pre-party as well. And so there's going to, I bet you Boise State has a couple thousand fans down there. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a ton of fun. I have a lot of friends going down there. A lot of people are going. I would, more people than Oregon. That's going to be close, but I would probably say yes. I think Boise State's going to have a huge crowd at this game. And they had a big crowd in the championship on a week notice. As I mentioned, people have had 4 or 5 months to plan this trip. The only thing that's a little negative is a lot of the hotel rooms are a little higher because the Chiefs are in town for the game on Sunday against the Raiders. So it's a little expensive ticket for the hotels this weekend. But it's going to be a lot going on in Vegas. You got that game Friday, the Chiefs Raiders on Sunday. There's just a lot going on, and it's going to be a fun weekend in Vegas. So hope to see a lot of you down there on Friday. And again, we'll be doing our pregame show there at Bar Canada on the second floor of the D. Prater and Johnny will be doing their show there. So it's going to kind of be the unofficial hangout spot pregame. So hope you guys will make plans to stop by, have some drinks, and gamble a little bit. And maybe, like I said, we'll throw some fans on the show and kind of just have a good time and see what chaos ensues as we're getting ready for the game on Friday night. So appreciate you guys. We'll have Brad Bedell on tomorrow morning, and then we'll have John Mallory on Thursday. Then we'll head to Las Vegas, and Jay Tust and I will be live from Las Vegas on Friday as we get you set for this game. But don't forget tonight, sponsored by Jackson's, Riley and Rid. We're still finalizing the guest list, but I believe it's going to be a good one. You're not going to want to miss this. As always, if you come to the James in person and ask a question, you get a horseshoe golden ale on me. And otherwise, if you can't make it, you can just stay at your home or wherever you're at, and you can watch it live on YouTube. We'll be live on YouTube at 8 o'clock. The show is much better with the fan interactions. So get the questions in, have some fun, get them telling some stories, and the drinks start flowing, and it's a fun time. I love Riley and Rid show. Those guys get some great guests, tell some great stories, and have a lot of fun. And we're appreciative of the local Jackson stores for sponsoring this. So head to Jackson's, get some food, some drinks, and then head home and watch Riley and Rid tonight. 8 o'clock Mountain Time, it'll be live. And again, if you ever miss a live show, it is available in its entirety right after the show ends on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. So make sure you try to catch it live. Try to come see us in person at the James. And if not, you can watch it on archive, on replay on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Thank you so much for your support as always. Again, if you can like this video, subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. We're inching closer to 6,000. We're over 5,900 now, so we're under 100 away from 6,000 YouTube subscribers. If you can help us out on YouTube, that would be awesome. Get to 6,000. And if you're liking what you see and you want to read some exclusive content from Mike Prater and myself, get a daily email, all kinds of great stuff. $50 for that first year subscription using promo code BNN50deal. At the bottom of the screen is the code there. It's $50 for the first year, and then it renews for $70 for every year after that. But even $70 for 365 days of Boise State coverage, we believe is a steal. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support as always. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you at 8 o'clock for Riley and Rid. And then we'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Brad Bedell. Again, thanks to our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. This is a Taco Bell Tuesday. Get out and try some Taco Bell with the family, and we will probably be out there today or tomorrow. We haven't been in a couple days, so that means it's time for another trip to Taco Bell for the Rains family. And again, we're broadcasting from the Western Collective Studios. Get out to their brewery in Garden City. Go support them. Go support all of our sponsors. We'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by rowpaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.